Chosen one. Lean in closely, because what I am about to release is not just another encouraging word. It is a prophetic alarm from the throne of heaven. A billionaire shift is not coming. Someday it is happening now, and God is sounding the trumpet for you to wake up, pay attention, and prepare your spirit. This is not business as usual. This is not just another season. This is a divine pivot point that carries the weight of destiny. Understand this: when heaven issues an alarm, it is because the moment before you is too important to miss. God is not speaking in whispers today. He is ringing the bell of urgency in your spirit. He is declaring that the old cycle is closing, and a new one has begun. The alarm is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to position you. It is the sound that says, "Get ready," because the doors of abundance are already swinging wide open. This shift is not just about money filling your bank account. It is about a transfer of influence, authority, and divine favor that will mark you as set apart. The world is entering chaos, but you will be a sign of stability. Where others see drought, you will see rivers. Where others lose hope, you will be the testimony that God is still moving. The alarm is heaven's way of saying, "Chosen one." I cannot allow you to stay asleep while your destiny unfolds. God is warning you tonight because timing matters. Delay will cost you. Distraction will rob you. Doubt will disqualify you. But obedience and readiness will thrust you into a realm where your very presence shifts atmospheres. This is not a casual message. This is a divine wake-up call. Chosen one. Heaven is declaring your billionaire shift has begun. Answer the alarm. Chosen one. Before you doubt, before you question if this word is really for you, pause and remember this. Heaven has been watching you all along. God has not missed a single moment of your journey. Every tear you shed in silence, every prayer whispered when no one else was listening, every step of faith you took when fear pressed hard against you, heaven recorded it all. You may have felt invisible. You may have wondered if your sacrifices were in vain. But tonight, the Spirit of God says, "I saw it. I honored it. And now I will reward it." Just as Joseph's years in the pit and the prison were not wasted, your seasons of struggle have been preparation. Heaven has validated your endurance, your obedience, and your refusal to quit when everything in you wanted to give up. The time for striving has ended. The wilderness is closing behind you. You are not standing on the same ground you once stood on. God has shifted the season, and your faithfulness has qualified you for promotion. This is why the billionaire shift is not a random blessing. It is heaven's response to your hidden faith. Chosen one, take comfort. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. Heaven smiles on you, and God Himself declares, "Your struggle is over. Your validation has come. Now rise and walk into the abundance I have prepared." Chosen one. Let's pause for a moment and truly understand what this billionaire shift is. Too many hear the word billionaire and think only of dollar signs, bank accounts, and material possessions. But heaven is not speaking in shallow terms. This shift is not simply about making you wealthy. It is about making you whole. It is about positioning you in the exact place God designed for you. a place where your purpose, your influence, and your provision converge in a way that transforms not just your life but the lives of countless others. This billionaire shift is heaven's way of saying, I am enlarging your capacity. It is wealth, yes, but it is also wisdom to know what to do with it. It is favor that cannot be explained, doors opening that no man can shut. It is divine connections, aligning you with the right people at the right time. It is strategies downloaded from heaven that give you solutions the world has been searching for. Think of it this way: money alone cannot sustain destiny. If God only gave you wealth, without the character, wisdom, and authority to manage it, it would crush you. That is why this shift includes far more than finances. It is a transformation of identity from survivor to ruler, from overlooked to unstoppable. It is the supernatural elevation that makes your life a testimony of God's reality. The billionaire shift means stepping into overflow, where lack has no voice and fear has no grip. It means carrying a legacy so large that your name is remembered not for what you owned, but for what you built, restored, and released into the world. It means your influence will stretch into industries, nations, and generations. Chosen one. This shift is heaven's declaration that your life will no longer be ordinary. You are stepping into abundance, not for yourself alone, but for the purpose of impacting the world with God's glory. This is the billionaire shift, and it begins within you. Chosen one. Every great shift that God releases begins first on the inside. Before the resources flow, before the doors open, before the influence expands, God works in your spirit, your heart, and your mind. The billionaire shift is not triggered by numbers in a bank account. It is ignited by a new way of thinking and believing. For too long, survival has been the lens you looked through. Poverty taught you to think small, to count every penny, to fear running out. Trauma whispered that you were not enough. The world convinced you that dreams that felt too big were foolish. But hear me clearly, those lies are being uprooted right now. The Holy Spirit is rewriting your internal script, replacing fear with faith, doubt with divine confidence, and limitation with limitless vision. God is renewing your mind so you no longer think as one who barely makes it, but as one who carries heaven's blueprint. He is recalibrating your spirit to move from scarcity to overflow. No longer will you wake up anxious about tomorrow. Instead, you will rise with the boldness of someone who knows heaven is backing every step. This inner transformation also shifts the way you see yourself. You are not defined by your past mistakes, your failures, or what people said about you. You are a chosen vessel, a carrier of divine power, a walking testimony of grace. As your mindset aligns with God's truth, you will begin to attract what you once chased. Opportunities will seek you out. Resources will be drawn to your vision. Favor will surround you like a shield. Chosen one. This is why the billionaire shift must begin within. If God released abundance without changing your mindset, you would handle it with the same fear and limitation that once held you back. But because He has been transforming you, your spirit is ready, your heart is steady, and your vision is clear. This is your inner awakening, the moment you step into your true identity. From this point forward, you will no longer think like a survivor, but like a ruler. You will no longer live as one waiting for scraps, but as one chosen to steward overflow. The shift begins within you. Chosen one. Understand this. The world's economy and God's economy are not the same. The world teaches you to hustle endlessly, to grind, until you collapse, to fight for scraps in systems built on scarcity. It tells you that there is never enough, so you must compete, manipulate, or compromise just to survive. But God's kingdom operates on overflow. In His economy, there is always more than enough. He is not limited by markets, governments, or global conditions. His supply flows directly from heaven, untouched by inflation or recession. This is why aligning with God's economy is the key to your billionaire shift. It requires a different posture: faith instead of fear, obedience instead of striving, surrender instead of control. When you align, you stop chasing opportunities and begin attracting them. You stop living by man's reports and start living by God's promises. Remember when Jesus fed the 5,000? The disciples looked at the little they had and saw lack. But in God's economy, a few loaves and fish became an endless banquet. That is the pattern of heaven. What looks insufficient in human hands becomes supernatural abundance in God's. Alignment also means shifting your priorities. The world says, seek wealth first, and everything else will follow. But God says, seek first my kingdom and my righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. When you put His will above your will, His purpose above your plans, the flow of abundance begins to locate you. Chosen one. The doors that matter most will not open by strategy alone. They will open by divine favor. God is saying tonight, align your heart with mine, and watch how quickly I pour out blessings that defy logic. This billionaire shift is not fueled by the world's systems. It is sustained by heaven's economy. Chosen one. God does not release abundance without preparation. He will never place weight in your hands that your character cannot carry. This billionaire shift is not only about what you are receiving, but about the process that has refined you to handle it. Every trial, every delay, every betrayal, every closed door, none of it was wasted. It was heaven's training ground, shaping you into a vessel worthy of overflow. Think of David, anointed as king, yet sent back to tend sheep, then tested by lions, bears, and finally giants. He did not walk straight into the throne. He walked through preparation. Why? Because the throne required more than anointing. It required character, discipline, and wisdom. The same is true for you. The oil of anointing is already on your life. But God has been using your trials to sharpen your discernment, strengthen your resilience, and prepare you for influence on a scale you could not imagine. Stewardship begins in the small things. If you can be faithful with little, God can trust you with much. The way you manage your time, your relationships, your current resources, all of it has been a test. And chosen one, you passed when you stayed faithful, even when it looked like nothing was changing. That is why heaven is now saying, it's time. But stewardship doesn't end with receiving. It begins again at a higher level. This billionaire shift will require you to manage not only wealth, but influence, decisions, and opportunities that carry weight for generations. Will you give with integrity? Will you lead with humility? Will you resist the temptation to make it about yourself and instead use it for kingdom impact? Chosen one. The preparation has been long, but it was necessary. The stewardship will be challenging, but you are ready. God has not only chosen you for wealth, He has trusted you with a mission. This shift is not a gift for your comfort. It is a responsibility for your calling. Walk into it, prepared. Walk into it, faithful, and watch how God multiplies everything you place in His hands. Chosen one, do not be surprised when opposition rises as the billionaire shift unfolds. The enemy does not sit silently while God elevates you. He will try to distract you with fear, delay, and doubt. He will whisper lies. You are not ready. This is too big for you. You will fail. But understand this: those words carry no power unless you agree with them. The truth is written in heaven. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. That doesn't mean weapons won't be formed. It means they will not succeed. Attacks may come, distractions may rise, but God has already surrounded you with His protection. You are covered, shielded, and guarded by the very hand of the Almighty. Think of the children of Israel walking through the Red Sea. The waters rose, enemies pursued, but God Himself stood between His people and their oppressors. That same covering rests on you now. What the enemy designed to stop you will become the very platform God uses to prove His faithfulness. Chosen one. Let this truth settle in your spirit. Opposition is the evidence of your shift, not the end of it. Every storm, every attack, every scheme of darkness is powerless against the shield of God's favor. Stand firm, resist the lies, and walk forward with confidence. The enemy cannot stop what heaven has already set in motion. Chosen one. Hear this clearly. The billionaire shift is not about chasing luxury. It is about fulfilling destiny. God is not simply placing wealth in your hands so you can live in comfort. He is entrusting you with resources to transform lives, restore communities, and advance His kingdom. Possession without purpose fades away, but wealth tied to divine mission multiplies into eternity. Think of Joseph. God didn't elevate him to Pharaoh's palace just so he could wear royal garments or sit on a throne. His wealth and position had a purpose: to save nations in famine, to preserve his family, and to demonstrate God's sovereignty. In the same way, the shift happening in your life is not random. It is an assignment. You are being positioned to fund visions bigger than yourself. Schools will be built. Ministries will be sustained. Families will be restored. And dreams will be revived because of the resources flowing through you. Your impact will outlive your possessions because possessions fade, but purpose leaves legacy. The world tells you wealth is measured by what you keep. God tells you wealth is measured by what you release. Your generosity will break chains of poverty for others. Your influence will open doors where there were none. Your success will stand as living proof that God is real and faithful. Chosen one, possessions may fill a house, but purpose fills the earth. God is warning you to never confuse the two. The billionaire shift you are stepping into is not about what you can accumulate, but about what you are called to accomplish. Walk in purpose, and everything else will follow. Chosen one. God is not only releasing abundance, He is also releasing divine strategies. Wealth without wisdom is wasted, but wealth with heaven's direction multiplies into legacy. In this billionaire shift, you are not left to figure things out on your own. God is already downloading ideas, whispering instructions, and aligning you with strategies that will position you exactly where you need to be. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." That means every decision, every investment, every step must be surrendered to Him. As you pray, as you listen, as you stay sensitive, you will begin to notice nudges in your spirit, dreams that won't fade, ideas that keep coming back, opportunities that look small but carry great potential. These are not random thoughts. They are divine signals. Timing is just as crucial as strategy. The enemy will try to push you into haste or hold you in delay, but God's timing is perfect. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." Chosen one. This is your appointed time. What used to take years will happen in months. Doors that were shut will swing open suddenly. Connections that seemed impossible will form overnight. This is the season of divine acceleration. But acceleration does not mean recklessness. God's timing calls for discernment. Move when He says move. Wait when He says wait. A step too early can drain you, and a step too late can cause you to miss the open door. Stay in rhythm with the Spirit, and you will always be exactly where you need to be. Chosen one. The strategies and timing of heaven are already aligning around you. Do not lean on your own understanding. Lean on God's voice. The shift you are stepping into is not luck. It is orchestration. Every piece is falling into place by design. Trust the process. Obey the instructions, and move in sync with heaven's clock. This billionaire shift is happening now, and you are right on time. Chosen one. The billionaire shift is not just about your life. It is about your bloodline. The struggles, the cycles of lack, the ceilings that limited those before you, they end with you. God is using this moment to break generational curses and to establish a new inheritance of faith, abundance, and purpose. For too long, your family may have known only survival. Poverty, fear, broken opportunities, patterns that repeated from one generation to the next. But heaven has drawn a line in the sand. God is declaring, it stops here. You are the interruption to the pattern, the one chosen to rewrite the story for those who come after you. Think of Abraham. He was called to leave his father's house, to step into a land he had never seen. From his obedience came nations' promises and blessings that continue to echo through history. The same mantle rests on you. Your obedience today is creating an inheritance that will ripple for generations. Deuteronomy 7:9 says, "Know, therefore, that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping His covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love Him and keep His commandments." Chosen one. Your faith is not just shifting your present, it is securing your children's future. When people look back on your lineage, they will say, "It was here that the tide turned. It was through this one that God opened the floodgates." You are the bridge between what was and what will be. The billionaire shift is not only a blessing, it is a generational covenant. Chosen one. Vision is the blueprint of your billionaire shift. Without vision, wealth loses direction. Without execution, dreams remain only dreams. God is not only expanding your resources, He is also sharpening your sight. Habakkuk 2:2 says, "Write the vision and make it plain, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come." This is your time to write boldly, to declare courageously, and to act decisively. The goals you once thought were too big, God is saying they are not only possible, they are inevitable. The visions that once felt distant, they are closer than you imagine, but it begins with clarity. You must see it before you can step into it. Chosen one. Execution is the bridge between what God has spoken and what the world will see. Faith without works is dead. That means the strategy heaven has placed in your spirit requires action in the earth. Launch the project. Start the business. Speak the idea. Move when God says move. Delay will only hinder what heaven is already aligning. Do not wait for perfect conditions. God's timing rarely looks convenient. When Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, the storm was still raging. Vision requires courage. Execution requires trust. But when you act on what God has shown you, the supernatural collides with the natural, and the impossible becomes reality. Chosen one. This billionaire shift is not for dreamers who only dream, it is for visionaries who build. Heaven has placed blueprints in your spirit. Write them down, speak them out, and take the steps required. As you do, you will discover that every resource, every connection, every door you need will appear at the exact moment you need it. Vision and execution are the fuel of your shift. Don't just see it, step into it. Chosen one. The billionaire shift is not just about receiving it, it is about multiplying. God does not bless you so the flow stops with you. He blesses you so the blessing expands, grows, and touches everything connected to your life. The true evidence of divine wealth is not addition, but multiplication. One of the greatest keys is gratitude. Psalm 104 says, "Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise." Gratitude opens doors in the spirit that nothing else can. A thankful heart attracts more because it declares to heaven, "I recognize the source." Every time you give thanks, you position yourself for increase. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what is missing to what is possible, and it draws God's favor closer. The second key is generosity. Luke 6:38 reminds us, "Give, and it will be given to you a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Generosity activates the law of overflow. When you release what God has placed in your hands, He releases even more into your life. This is not loss, it is investment into eternity. Your giving becomes the seed that multiplies beyond anything you could imagine. The third key is community and partnerships. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, "Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor." Multiplication rarely happens in isolation. God will place divine connections around you. Mentors, allies, kingdom partners, so that your influence and resources stretch further than you could reach alone. Chosen one. Multiplication is not magic. It is principle. Gratitude opens, generosity multiplies, and community amplifies. Practice these keys, and you will see your wealth, your influence and your impact expand on every side. This billionaire shift is not designed to add a little. It is designed to multiply beyond measure. Chosen one. This is the moment of activation. The billionaire shift is not a concept to admire. It is a call to action. God has been speaking, refining, and preparing you, but now heaven is saying, step into it. This shift requires your agreement, your faith, and your bold obedience. It is not enough to believe silently. You must declare it, act on it, and walk it out in every area of your life. Activation begins with identity. You are not ordinary, and you cannot think or move as though you are. Romans 8:10. Christian reminds us that you are an heir of God and co-heir with Christ. That means everything the Father has, He has made accessible to you through Christ. Walk with authority. Speak with confidence. Move as royalty, not as one begging for scraps. When you rise into that identity, the atmosphere around you begins to respond. But activation is not just for you, it is for the world. This billionaire shift positions you as a solution, a light in the midst of darkness. God is not blessing you so you can boast, but so you can build. Imagine schools rising in underserved communities, hospitals funded where there was once despair, ministries flourishing because you obeyed the call to give. This is what it means to carry wealth with purpose. Chosen one. Your impact will not be limited to your neighborhood or your city. God is calling you to influence systems, industries, and nations. Just as Esther was positioned in a palace for such a time as this, you are being positioned to shift culture and history. Your wealth, your wisdom, and your influence are the tools God will use to demonstrate His glory on a global scale. And here is the final truth. This activation demands obedience. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. When God says, move, you must move. When He says, give, you must give. When He says, speak, you must speak. Every step of obedience releases another wave of favor, another open door, another confirmation that you are right where God wants you to be. Chosen one. The world is waiting. Nations are waiting. Generations are waiting. This billionaire shift is not just your breakthrough, it is your assignment. So rise, boldly declare with faith, and step into the abundance prepared for you. Type 7777 as your seal of agreement. Lift your voice in gratitude, and walk forward knowing heaven is with you. The activation has begun, and your impact will echo across the earth.